This is the home of Karl May, Hohenstein Ernstthal. It's in the Chemnitz region of eastern Germany. History abounds. Well, also motor racing history. They started racing here in the Sachsenring back in 1927, and it's been going strong ever since. And for the past 2 years, the German Touring Car Masters has made an appearance here at the Sachsenring. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth event of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. I'm Milt Fitzwater. They're racing today at the newly rebuilt Sachsenring in eastern Germany. A great crowd on hand, as there has been all weekend, despite some questionable weather, to watch the German Touring Car Masters. The fans plan to see plenty of fast-paced action. They've taken away some of the chicanes. They've fixed the technology so that you have some of the most modern facilities anywhere. And they've taken the pit area and moved it to the opposite side of the track so the fans can see more. So there plans to be plenty of action here at the Sachsenring in the German Touring Car Masters. We're ready to go in the fourth event of the season on this very, very modern circuit. The crowds have come prepared for just about everything. The new circuit runs 2.32 miles, up and down hills, top speed over 150 miles an hour. The pole leader, Peter Dumbreck, isn't worried about the start.
I just have to make a good start, get round the first corner safe without getting hit. And from there, I just try to win the race. I think the most important race is the second race. We have a pit stop around sort of 40% of the race distance. And it's important that the team works well and I get a good stop and I can get nicely into the lead again.
So here's how they start up front. As you heard, Peter Dumbreck on the pole. Outside for the first time, Matthias Ekstrom, 22 years old. And next to them, Christian Albers and Michel Bartels. The points leader, Bernd Schneider, is all the way back in 20th position.
Especially in the qualifying race, I tried to improve some place, and in the main race we will see what strategy we can use. I hope I can collect some points.
We're about to find out, but right now it's the new young drivers that are out in front. That is Dumbreck in the gray Mercedes on the left, Ekstrom on the right. They come up over the hill. This is down the front straight. There'll be a right-hander, and Dumbreck gets a great start. Peter Dumbreck is off with a great start. Right behind him, Matthias Ekstrom, and Michel Bartels has pulled into third place. And everything is very tight going into the first corner. But everybody seems to know they don't. Michel Bartels has spun. Michel Bartels, who had a great start, one of the best for Opel yet, up in fourth, spins here early on a very wet course. It's been raining off and on all weekend. In qualifying, it was raining. A number of the drivers didn't get out in time on the dry track, and that's why the field is a tremendous mix of some of the veterans way in the back because they waited too long. But right now, that means some of the young stars get a chance to be out in front in this qualifying race. 9 laps. This sets the starting field for the main event here at the Sachsenring in eastern Germany. Peter Dumbreck from England, actually Scotland, out in front. Dumbreck, the teammate from Schneider, leads on this new course. Ekstrom is running in third, and then comes Christian Abt. And behind him comes Christian Albers from the Netherlands. Down the long, fast straightaway, the fastest part of the course, a left-hander, but now you get to see this was all straightened out before. There were a couple of kinks in it. Now it was totally straight. There is a left-hander here. And out of the left-hander, there's a short straight to a left-hander that goes down the front pit road. You see Michel Bartels coming down the back. That is the turn now that is leading back toward the start-finish line. Ekstrom is putting the pressure on Bernd Schneider. Albers, Timon, Husmann. How about that? He hasn't been up that far either. Peter Husmann in 6th position. Take another look at what happened in the start. That is the third car in there is Michel Bartels. He bumps at par ahead of him, and then he gets tapped from behind, right about here, and then spins. And it's really too bad, because Bartels was the Opel hope here at the Sachsenring. Opel having its share of problems, more than its share of problems this year. And with the qualifying and the fact that he was so far up in front, and then all of a sudden this had to happen. I got through the first curve just fine. Everything was going smoothly, and I felt the field had sorted itself out. Suddenly, I got a push from behind. I don't know who did it. Either Marcel Tiemann, Christian Albers, or even an Audi. I couldn't see who did it. But actually, the field was lined up, but someone overdid it, and they had to give me a shove. And then I spun in the wet course. And so the Opels will once again hope that they can get back to the front of the pack. But there's the man that's making the charge right there, that D2 Mercedes with the yellow mirrors. That's Bernd Schneider, your points leader. He started back in 20th position here in this 9-lap race, and right now he is up to 8th place. What happened in qualifying was he waited too long. He'd hoped that they could go out after everybody else did, and before the rains came, and get his time in. But the rains came, and by the time he went out, there was no chance to match the times of the cars that had gone out immediately when the green flag fell. And so now Bernd Schneider has his hands cut out for him. He has his hands full, actually, because he's moving up now, trying to get by Manuel Reuter, Tomczyk in the Audi, Reuter in the Opel. And right now, Schneider gets by him, gets by Reuter, and then now moving up on Tomczyk. The 19-year-old in the Audi that has done so well this season has Bernd Schneider full in his rearview mirror. Schneider seems to be a man possessed. What a great drive so far. He's gotten by Tomczyk, but it looks like the Reuter got by him again. It's tight in the corner. They're not giving him any room at all. And Bernd Schneider continues to press, taking different lines. It's a wet course. There goes Tomczyk into a little bit of an outside line. It's wet out there, and he comes back in and spins. He got out of what was the dry lane, or close to dry lane, and spun. Another learning experience for the 19-year-old, but he certainly has put on some great shows here, and finished well besides. But this is the man. They call him the dominator of the German touring car scene. You can see that the young Tomczyk had come out of a wet area of the track, crossed over into another wet area, and lost it. Too bad, too. He was running right up in the top 10. The Audis coming on so strong this year. A pleasure to see. Laurent Aiello won the race at the Nürburgring. Aiello, incidentally, not here. He's at Le Mans this weekend. Now, Bernd Schneider continues to push. He gets by Marcel Tiemann in a Mercedes. Now he's working on Peter Husmann. Nothing seems to stop him here. You're riding with Marcel Tiemann, and if you can look through the windshield, you get a look at Bernd Schneider ahead of you. This is the very fast part of the course, downhill. And Tomczyk has gone off and into the gravel. So his qualifying race is over. He's starting probably back in the pack a little bit for the main event. Meanwhile, your leader, Dumbreck, followed by Ekstrom, a 22-year-old, Christian Abt in another of the Audis. This trio has led and held the lead throughout. But the question is, who's going to be fourth? Look at this. Bernd Schneider has moved from 20th to 4th position. Behind him, Husmann, Tiemann, Fessler, and then Reuter is the first of the Opels in 8th position. So Bernd Schneider has put on a show here. He had said before the race he had hoped to make up a few positions from the 20th so he'd have a better starting position for the main event. He made up more than a few. He's come from 20th all the way up to 4th position. He most likely won't be able to improve much more on it because the leading trio is pretty much out in front. But the move himself has set him up into the second row for the main event here at the Sachsenring in eastern Germany. A new rebuilt course. You get a great look at it here. Here's a little bit of a right kink that leads to the downhill section. Very, very fast. Then it's into a left-hand corner. Out of it, there's a short chute uphill, working toward the start-finish line. It's a blind trip up the hill, but then comes the flag. And now Peter Dumbreck coming toward the checkered flag here in the qualifying race. The Sachsenring, he takes it. Ekstrom is second. Finishing third, Christian Abt, the owner of Abt Sportsline. And now look at the difference here between third and fourth. But this man, Bernd Schneider, takes fourth after starting in 20th position. What a great drive for him. Tremendous drive. And Mercedes once again dominating with the top Opel being Manuel Reuter. But the day belongs to Mercedes and to Audi in the first 7 positions. You're riding with Ekstrom back into the pits. Another of the Audis did have a problem, and that, of course, was Martin Tomczyk.
Ja, also ich bin sehr gut gefahren,
I drove very well and worked my way to the front. There were some good battles. There were also a couple of situations in which I'm not sure what happened. Someone hit me twice, I spun, and then lost 6 places. And then the second time, I went into the gravel and I couldn't get out, and so it was over for me. But now the main race is ahead, and I'll have to make up for it. And for the fans, not during in-between races, but before the races and in special moments, they get an opportunity to meet the drivers up close and personal. It's autograph time in the German Touring Car Masters, and everybody takes part. So now we're ready to start the second race, the main event of the day, 28 laps. Peter Dumbreck will start on the pole, Matthias Ekstrom on the outside pole. Then comes Christian Abt in another Audi, and Bernd Schneider, the star of the first race, starting in 4th position. Next comes Peter Hoosman, a surprise. The Dutchman with a great performance, Marcel Fesner, who's won a race already this season. Marcel Tiemann substituting for Mailänder, starting back in 7th position. Then comes Darren Turner and Hubert Haupt as the field continues to get set to go here at the Sachsenring. The main race in the German Touring Car Masters, 4th event of the season. We're underway, and Peter Dumbreck gets the lead in the Mercedes. Ekstrom tucks right in behind him, and it looks like Christian Abt has taken over 3rd place. On the outside is Bernd Schneider, and he may have fallen back just a little bit. He's still battling his way. He may have lost 1 position there. Well, he's lost a couple of positions, it looks like. So his 4th place was good, but he's dropped back to at least 5th position. And Dumbreck made a mistake. Ekstrom got by. Dumbreck made a mistake in the corner. Ekstrom slipped by him. Uwe Alsen also made a mistake. The course has dried out since the first race. And Hoosman has got problems. Somewhere there was a collision, and the Hoosman car has taken on some new aerodynamics. He's going to have to get to the pits. It's lucky he's on the back part of the course. He'll come up the hill and get into the pits. Remember that the teams have to make a mandatory pit stop in this race somewhere within the required amount of time. It's mandatory. You change the tires. Oh, and we have a mass collision. It was involving Alsen and Hubert Haupt, who spun, and that's Chris Nissen's car, the Audi that went into the wall. Chris Nissen's Audi ran into the wall, and that's his car out in front, but he looks like he's going to be able to get out. He's undoing the buckle on his car. He's okay. And that is Mamero, who is the one that hit him last. And so Chris Nissen gets out. He's okay. And the pace car is out in the very first lap on this brand new course. And there's Hubert Haupt. He and Uwe Alsen started all that at the top of the hill. And Hubert Haupt, who had gotten a brand new Opel that they'd put together for this race, a 2000 version, and it's all over. And the pace car leads them around. Ekstrom ahead of Dumbreck. The field will hold position now as they're going to have to clean up that back section. Plenty of pieces everywhere. There goes Alsen and Haupt, but watch what happens coming down the hill. The cars are sorting themselves out. The two yellow Audis. Watch what happens. Chris Nissen gets a little loose, loses it, spins, and goes into the wall.
I'm not completely sure about it. I think it was a race accident. Some cars in front of me went off or half off. There was a lot of smoke. I braked. I went on the throttle again. I had to go right, left, and I lost the car. I think I came on the grass, and then I hit the Armco. The car went back on the circuit. Another car hit me. It was quite exciting. I was really, really scared. But it's good to see that the cars are as safe as they are.
And now some of the cars are starting to pit. Manuel Reuter being one of them in the Opel. Bernd Schneider has already pit. Fessler has pit. Albers has pit. So a lot of the cars have already come in here under this pace car lap. Most would wait for a while, but instead they're coming in now. They're going to try to go to the distance. This takes care of their mandatory pit stop. They'll start back a little bit, but when the others pit, they may have a chance to move up. What a day for Chris Nissen. He substitutes for Laurent Ayala, who's at Le Mans. And in the first lap of the first race on this newly rebuilt course, he's got his problems. Another man with problems, Jochen Winkelhock. Boy, has he had a tough season. He's going to have to bring it in and get the tire fixed. Winkelhock has had one of those years you just about want to forget about. You can't smile too much about it. He's had one did not start. He's had a did not finish up in the short races. His best finish has been a 13th, and that's a former champion. That's really tough. Another look at what happened here. There's the Haupt car going off. Here come the two Audis. Watch. Well, you can't see it right there. They're still getting the car out of the way. And once the cars are off the track, then we'll get started again. Pace car is out, as you saw. Nissen is okay. The way the cars are built nowadays certainly proved to be a great advantage for him. And it just happened on one of the fastest parts of the course. Amazing. Ekstrom is your leader. Dumbreck is behind him. And he takes the green. Here we go. Keep in mind, Ekstrom and Dumbreck have not pitted. They have not pitted. Meanwhile, some of the other leaders back in the pack have. The course is totally dried out. And there should be some fine racing. Look at this. Bernd Schneider is right back up into the thick of things. 6th or 7th position. Wow. He's really moving out. If the lap chart is correct right now that we have, he's about in 9th position. The rest of the field working its way through. So now we have to see what happens on this brand new course. A course that has a 1 point, a 12-degree drop, and at another point there's a 10-degree incline. Some of the race fans here are calling it a small Nürburgring with the up and down hills. Got to remember the Nürburgring is 14 miles long, but sections of the course here remind you of the Nürburgring. Bernd Schneider continues to rule. The man that leads the points coming into the weekend, Timo Scheider, gets a chance to watch the man go by. Schneider has moved back into 4th position, and he is probably sitting there kind of smiling because the rest of these folks are going to have to pit, and if he can hold that tires together and make him work, he's got a good advantage here. Amazing. The Mercedes team has been together a long time. Bernd Schneider and his crew have been together a long time. They know every trick in the book. That's why he's been a champion in the German Touring Car Series. Now the question is going to be, what's going to happen to the rest of the field that didn't pit? This is Yves Olivier, the partner from Manuel Reuter. He's also new to the circuit this year, and he goes off the course into the sand. Can he get out, or is he going to be stuck? He has also had his share of problems this season getting used to racing in the German Touring Car Series. The man with seemingly no problems is Bernd Schneider. He has been toughened no matter what happens. And everybody thought this weekend, after the bad luck that he had in qualifying, that finally someone would be able to pick up some points on him. The difficulty is that the non-Mercedes that was chasing him, that being Laurent Aiello, is not here. So everyone thought, okay, if Schneider starts back in the pack, maybe he can't pick up enough points and Aiello will have a chance. Aiello is in at Le Mans due to a previous contract with Audi. So that's where that one stands. The question now is Schneider going to be able to pick up more points or not? And when you look at him, and he is currently running in 3rd position, and you can see the B there, that means Boxenstopp. He made a pit. And the cars ahead of him have not. And the cars here back in the pack, you can see, have all pitted. They aren't going to have to pit again. The cars are very, very tight, which means there's no room here. Once you go in the pit, you know you're going to lose positions. And if the car right behind you is already pitted and you're going in, big time loss in time. You're riding with Marcel Fessler in the Mercedes. Get a look at the course here. Heading down that fast section, downhill. Fessler, who has won a race this season, another of the young drivers in the series, driving for Mercedes. Heading now up toward the start-finish line. You can see he gets a little squirrely there. This is a difficult position. You got to come up that hill cleanly or you'll lose a lot of speed. There you have it. Schneider is 3rd, Abt 4th, Scheider, Jaeger, Fessler is back into 7th position. Marcel Tiemann, the substitute driver in his 2nd race, in 8th place. Bernd Mailander hurt his foot a couple races ago. Now will be back, they hope, in the next race. And Marcel Tiemann sat in for him and has done a tremendous job. He's had a couple of very good races. And so he certainly has told Mercedes, hey, if there's going to be a slot open, I would like to have one. So he's already looking ahead to next year. Fessler continues to put on a good show here. Fessler's had a pretty good year. He has proven that he really belongs with the Mercedes team. He's teamed with Uwe Alsen. Alsen came in with all the publicity, but Fessler is the one who's done a great job. He's 25 years old, comes from Switzerland. Meanwhile, Bernd Schneider has recorded the fastest lap. There isn't much else he hasn't done today. Running in 3rd place, Schneider has proven to everybody that if you want to win touring cars, then you've got to beat him. He won the race at Hockenheim and then came back and has done well ever since. And nobody's been able to stop him. He just keeps tiling up the points. The rest of the field sorting itself out here, working its way through, waiting to see as we come toward the very important pit stops. This is the time when everyone is going to have to say, okay, it's time for me to do my thing. And when everybody else does their thing, these guys are going to be in trouble. There you have it. You can see it. Schneider with the pit stop. That's at B. Fessler with the pit stop. So that means that Ekstrom, Dumbreck, Abt, and Scheider all have to pit, as does Jaeger. And the cars running in those positions with that little B right next to them are kind of smiling to themselves because it's going to be an automatic move to the front for them, it looks like. There's your leader. There's Dumbreck. And there's Dumbreck's partner, Bernd Schneider. It'll be interesting to hear what happens after the race is over. Who decided to send somebody in the pits and who decided not to send them into the pits? That's going to be the big question. We got a long way to go yet, though. Ekstrom and Dumbreck are still out in front. The Audi in front of the Mercedes. Then comes the Mercedes of Schneider, an Audi of Abt, then Scheider. And after Scheider, Fessler, Thiemann, and Jaeger. You're riding with Marcel Fessler, and he is right behind Timo Scheider. So the Opel are sitting pretty good right now with Scheider up in the top 5 places. But pit stops lie ahead. Once again, you're getting a ride with Marcel Fessler. Fessler's had quite a season. He finished second at Hockenheim. He finished 5th at the Nürburgring. He won at Oschersleben. Qualified here miserably at 18th, but did finish 6th in the qualifying race, and has a chance for a better finish here in the feature event. But if you look at the drive of Bernd Schneider, he fell back a little bit at the start. He's now pulling up on his teammate, Peter Dumbreck, and Ekstrom is still out in front. Schneider has a way to catch him, and you can get a comparison of lap times here. But the question now is when will Ekstrom and Dumbreck pit? And is Schneider going to push Dumbreck before Dumbreck has to pit? Now, they know that Dumbreck will have to pit, so do you wait? What do you do? Ekstrom, the young driver, doing a great job here. He's had a great season so far. 22 years old. He comes from Sweden. He's one of the young stars of the series. He didn't even start the race at Hockenheim. He'd fallen out. At the Nürburgring, he came in 9th. At Oschersleben, he came in 7th. And he qualified 2nd here and finished 2nd in the qualifying race and is now leading the main race. What a great start for the young driver from Sweden. Bernd Schneider continues to roll. It looks like he's kind of holding back and pacing himself just a little bit here. He actually is in the driver's seat. He really doesn't have to push as long as the competition doesn't catch him from behind. Abt, Schneider, Fessler. These are the cars that are chasing, but right now, seem to be a long way back. As once again, you get this uphill section with Marcel Fessler. This is the corner that leads you into the start-finish line. You can see how you're going uphill. It's a blind corner coming uphill, still blind until you get over. And now the pits have started. Here comes Ekstrom, which means he definitely is going to lose the lead, but how much? That's the question. Ekstrom is out, but he's not in the lead anymore. Let's see when the rest of them start to pit. Tough and tight in the back, looking for positions to reach the top 5. There is Abt, Fessler, Timo Scheider. As the cars continue to roll here at the Sachsenring. Fourth race weekend of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. Next stop after this will be the Sachsenring, a street course. Another fast but very short course. Good shot of the long straightaway. The new part of the course here at the Sachsenring. That was the uphill section you saw before. Now the uphill part. And it looks like that's Dumbreck going into the pits, and Bernd Schneider has taken the lead. Can you believe it? What a great performance. But this one belongs to his team as much as it does to him. They were the ones that got him in on the pace car lap. Dumbreck is in. Peter Dumbreck, who didn't pit when Schneider did, is going to lose several places. And Bernd Schneider has taken the lead, and what a lead. He is way out in front. Thanks to some great pit strategy. Way back on the pace car laps when the safety car came out after the big crash, he ducked into the pits. Audi, quite frankly, made a mistake and didn't call in their leader, Ekstrom. They left him out there. And while the pace car was out going slow, Schneider was able to make the change, get back out, and then pick up ground on the field and simply waited until Ekstrom and his teammate, Dumbreck, went to the pits. A brilliant piece of work. Now it's a case of driving it home. Look at the difference here. He has got a lead that is just amazing. And with this will also, of course, come the advantage in the points if he can drive it home. Mainly because Fessler is behind him, and Fessler was in second place in the points. Aiello isn't even here. Dumbreck, who was fourth in the points, is back just a little bit. So now the question is going to be, can the Opel move up? Reuter is sitting in 8th position. Timo Scheider is up in the 4th position. The rest of the field continues to work. There's Christian Albers, another of the young drivers in the series. Albers has done quite well for himself, actually. He's kept himself out of trouble. He stayed on the track pretty much. He has not been one of those that has caused many problems for the other drivers, and he's done his learning. He finished 13th at Hockenheim. He was 12th at the Nürburgring, 12th at Oschersleben. He qualified 3rd here at the Sachsenring, but he had some tough times in the wet and was in 21st position. But now look at this. He finished 21st in qualifying, and Albers now is in 6th place. 6th position. What a great drive for the young driver. 21 years old, from the Netherlands, Christian Albers. A number of the young drivers in the field in the German Touring Car Masters. And today, it's a mix. The Dominator's out in front, which surprises a lot of people. But then, he's been out in front an awful lot. Christian Opp, who's been up in the top 5, in the pits and out, but that's going to throw him back a ways. So the top cars have pitted. And now it's going to be, can they catch up or can't they? Bernd Schneider is your leader. He had started 4th. And then when the pace lap came out, he dropped all the way back to 10th. Got up into 3rd position in the 8th lap. Took the lead on the 15th lap. So basically, he started 20th in the qualifying race. Got himself forward to a point where here in the main race, he is way out in front. What a simply great performance by Bernd Schneider. Also doing extremely well is Marcel Thiemann. Thiemann, as we said, substituting for Mailander, has moved up into the 2nd position. And this could be his last race for a while in the series, because the man he's replacing should be coming back. Timo Scheider is running in 4th position. Husmann is 5th. That'll be his best placing. for Peter Husmann in the Mercedes. Manuel Reuter is sitting in 6th position. So it looks like there's a chance here that the Opels will do pretty well. They've had a very disappointing year so far. Marcel Fessler, again, working his way up into the pack. He's been putting on a pretty good show. He had dropped all the way back into the 11th position, had worked his way all the way up to about the 4th place that was about lap 14, and then he's been bouncing back and forth ever since. But Fessler, another of those very strong young Mercedes drivers. He has Tomczyk ahead of him, and Tomczyk is right behind Manuel Reuter. Tomczyk has also done extremely well. Tomczyk with the yellow lights or rather the green lights and the green mirrors. Tomczyk actually didn't start the race at Hockenheim, was 9th at the Nürburgring, 7th at Oschersleben. So he has done extremely well. He has led the race even. Not this one, but he has led others. And so the young 19-year-old has made a position. So you have the drivers that are in their late 30s and a couple are in their early 40s having to battle for their lives against some of these young horses. And the young drivers, as the Germans say, they show no respect for the older generation. They want to move in and take over. Touring car racing in Germany, probably one of the most popular of the racing sports besides Formula One. And with the return of this type of racing, which originally was called the German Touring Car Championship several years ago, went to the International Touring Car Championship, and then changed and went out of business actually for a couple of years and then came back. And Manuel Reuter has gone off the track. Manuel Reuter dropped off. One of Opel's hopes continues to have bad luck. Reuter's had one of those seasons you just shake your head and wonder what's going to happen next. He's slowing down. Oh dear. Manuel Reuter, a former champion with problems. Tomczyk gets by him. He went off the course. Looks like it might be tire problems. Can't tell for sure. There's Michel Bartels. Opel's hope back at the beginning of the race weekend. Bartels having to work his way back up through the pack. He's had his share of problems right along with the rest of the Opel team, but today it would look like he had a chance, and then he spun there in the very first race. Had a difficult time ever since. He's sitting back in what I believe is now 9th position. And hopefully we'll be able to bring some of the Opel colors to the front here at the Sachsenring in eastern Germany. Another look at some of the redone track at the Sachsenring. It actually is an area for testing cars and drivers that was made into a racetrack that has become extremely popular. They have a World Championship motorcycle race coming up in about a month from now. There's your leader, Bernd Schneider, all by himself. Nobody is close. Another Mercedes. Marcel Thiemann is second. Christian Albers is third. Husmann in another Mercedes is fourth. So once again, Mercedes continues to dominate here. And see if Audi can come back and get into the picture once again. The Audis have been so strong this year after their miserable year last year. It's like Opel and Audi changed reputations here. Going off the course is Marcel Thiemann. He had been running extremely well. If he can keep it going, he'll get back on. He had a pretty good lead on the rest of the field. He might be able to hold position if he gets out quick enough. Have to see where he ends up on that one. But this is the man that continues to roll, Bernd Schneider. A tremendous performance by Bernd. He has done just about everything you can imagine. Formula One, he's done sports prototype racing. He's done just about everything that Mercedes has asked him to do. But where he has truly shown has been in the touring cars. Unbelievable performances, year after year after year. And today was one of those performances people will talk about later. Starting 20th in the qualifying race and now leading the feature race. Martin Tomczak, the 19-year-old, sitting in 4th position. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year that this 19-year-old would be one of Audi's main hopes in the year? But the Audi team has come on so strong. Christian Abt has done well. Certainly Laurent Aiello has done well. His performances are just amazing what Aiello has turned in. And then today it's Ekström's chance to lead the race. Amazing. Marcel Timon, you're riding with him again. He had just gone off the course. Now he's working his way back up. You kind of have to wonder what Mercedes is going to do after the fine performances that Timon has been able to come up with. They're going to have to make a place for him next year, probably. Now you continue to see the battle here between the Audis and Mercedes. Timon sandwiched between the two Audis. Ekström, the one behind him. And here comes Peter Dumbreck. That gray Mercedes has joined the group. Dumbreck, who had won the qualifying race, did not pit when the rest of the teams did, got caught, went in, lost a tremendous number of positions, and is now having to fight his way back just about the way everybody else is. But Tomczak has been something that you kind of sit back and really hope that he does well. He kind of snuck up on people, and now everybody has to pay attention. Nobody really dares not pay attention. And what's really nice is, and also in this group, is Peter Hoesman from the Netherlands. Now, Hoesman is the blue Mercedes with the yellow mirrors. He is the teammate of Timon. There you can see going off the course is Christian Abt. Got just a little bit wide. He's the man that's co-owner of the Abt Sportsline Racing. And has done a great job. They all can smile at Audi. Getting back quickly to Hoesman, he had a very difficult start joining the series. He did not finish, then a 7th and a 9th, and he finished 5th in the qualifying race here. And so Peter Hoesman, the car is leading this group right here in the blue Mercedes ahead of Tomczak. He right now is holding up the Dutch colors for them. The cars will be going to the Netherlands this year. Be racing in Zandvoort. And after this performance, it'll be a bunch of fan clubs there waiting for their drivers to come when the German Touring Car Masters hits the Netherlands. With Christian Albers doing so well, it's really amazing. You got two of the Dutch drivers today way out in front. But even further out in front is this man. It's an amazing, amazing performance here. He's well over 20 seconds out in front. Bernd Schneider, there isn't too much more he can do to prove how good he is. He is the type of racer that is going to be there every single day. No matter where he starts, obviously he's out to win. And you've got to get by him. Last year on the way to the championship, he only made one real bad mistake, and that was in Oschersleben and went off. Other than that, he was just as consistent as you could ever imagine. Meanwhile, back in the pack, here's Hoesman, Tomczak, and the rest of the crew. There's Dumbreck moving up. Timon is in that group with the yellow mirrors, or green mirrors, we should say. It's about the only way you can tell the cars apart are the mirrors. Hoesman comes up here with the yellow mirrors. There are the green mirrors of Tomczak, the green mirrors of Timon, the yellow mirrors are Ekström, and then comes Dumbreck. And Timon gets by Tomczak. He kind of forced his way by, but he did get by. So Marcel Timon, the substitute driver for Bernd Mailander, continues to prove that he wants a seat next year. You get a good look at the crowd, over 50-some-odd thousand for the weekend. They had a good crowd on Friday when they had the test day. The fans here in the Chemnitz region love their racing. And the way the organizers continue to make this track better, they're going to have plenty of it to come in years to come. And one of the names they're going to watch is this young Audi driver, Tomczyk. Ooh, and Dumbreck went off the course. Peter Dumbreck, who I'm sure had better things as far as a finish is concerned in mind when he started today, particularly after the qualifying race, but then it was strictly a matter of strategy that has cost him his positions. Nothing more. It was plain strategy that took him basically out of this one. Right behind him is Fessler. And there you saw the Abt Audi with problems. And there's Fessler. Here is Ekstrom. He is behind Tomczyk. Going down section with the right-hander that swings back uphill again. Going through the left-hand bend. It's a long left-hander. Straightens out, comes down, and then off you go into the fast part of the course again. So back in the pack, the battle is going on, but it's basically of the Audis as which one is going to be able to do what. It doesn't look like Dumbreck is going to be able to move up much. Michel Bartels makes a very tight move on Abt, and that's what took Christian Abt off the course. Abt held position, maybe it's a little bit too long, or tried to. Bartels had the slot and took it. Christian Albers goes by in the Mercedes. Albers from the Netherlands, one of the young drivers who promises to be one of the great ones. Here comes Hoosman. Then comes Timon, Tomczyk, Ekstrom. All new names with 2 laps to go here at the Sachsenring in the German Touring Car Masters. You can see some of the test areas here that they use when it's not a racetrack. They continue to expand the property, but they only can go so far. But they have a lot of testing done here at various types. And, of course, the racetrack is their pride and joy. And this latest version of it certainly has drawn rave reviews from drivers alike. Before it was a little tighter on that uphill section. That section you're looking at right now is much more wide open. The corners are a little bit more fluid. This corner is the key one coming up to the start-finish line. You've got to come out of that one smooth, or it just is not going to make it. And this is the man that's been smooth all day. What an amazing performance. Bernd Schneider started 20th. Made it to 4th position in the qualifying race in 9 laps. And then had to fight his way further forward. And this is the young Christian Albers. What a great performance today. Sitting in 2nd position with a lap to go. It'll be his best finish of the year. And what a great way for him to look ahead to his appearance up in Zandvoort. Hoosman running 3rd. Timon is running 4th. Ekstrom is running 5th. Dumbreck is running 6th. We're in the last lap. Fessler is all the way back into 7th position. Actually in 8th as Tomczyk got by him. Right now, enough space between everybody. Unless there's a mistake, everybody should pretty much hold position in this final lap. For Peter Dumbreck, it has to be what would be a disappointing race. But for Bernd Schneider, oh boy, what a great performance. Here he comes. He takes the checkered flag to win his 2nd major race of the season in the German Touring Car Masters, and he cements his points lead. An amazing performance. Truly an amazing performance for Bernd Schneider. He now has a huge lead in the points race. But there's your finish. Albers 2nd, Timon 3rd, Ekstrom 4th, Dumbreck, Tomczyk, Fessler, and then Christian Abt. So another day of Mercedes and Audi. They continue to be the 2 makes that dominate here in the German Touring Car Masters. Top Opel, Michel Bartels, running in 9th position. The new Mercedes driver, David Salins, is in 10th place. But this day belongs to Bernd Schneider, and what a great performance it was. Starting 20th, 4th after the qualifying race, first in the main event. What a great day for the Mercedes star.
The quali race was quite exciting. A lot of overtaking from 20 to 4 was more than a surprise for myself, but the conditions was on my side. I really liked to drive in the wet, and the car was brilliant. And the main race was just perfect strategy from my team. I was doing the safety car, and after the safety car, when I overtook Mini and Scheider, I was pretty sure to win the race if I have no failure in the car, and the car was just great today.
I think it was really very impressive. The rain in the qualifying race certainly helped him because Bernd is certainly very special under these conditions. He came from 21st to 4th, and then in the race we used the safety car to change tires, and then from then on I think he was the guy to beat, and he did an outstanding drive, probably his best drive ever.
And now he is the man to beat in the points race also. He has a commanding lead. You can see that Laurent Aiello has dropped back to 4th. And so the race is ahead. The next stop, the Norrisring, the street course in the city of Nuremberg. This in the German Touring Car Masters. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast today from the Sachsenring. I'm Milt Fitzwater, and we'll see you at the Norrisring.